if you buy a bus and it has a track system on it, let me back that up. If you're looking at a bus and it has a track system on it, I would say back away slowly. Not even back away slowly. Run. Run far away from it. Because these tracks are seriously a pain in the tushy. We could have been done by now. I'm not joking.
We are Bird's Tender Nest, an adventure-loving family always working towards finding our next adventure. Today we are working on removing our track flooring. With it being on a track, I have to say this adventure is a lot harder than it should be.
Thinking this is a no-go. I was just showing you how wet it is. There's a lot of moisture under that track and floor.
Wow. Is that from it just raining here and it's just holding the moisture, or is it?
It's probably a combination of a lot of things, honestly. I don't know how much that actually leaked when it was plugged, if it was being used. This is right behind the front wheels too, so it probably gets a lot of spray up under this area. So all that moisture probably wakes up through those screw holes and into the wood. Who knows if any of these windows leak, you know. There's all kinds of things. You can see a little bit of surface rust on the panels right there. So you could have had a leak in the window that ran down onto the floor, and there's probably a whole big rust area right through here.
Yay. Things you don't see even when you look under the bus when you buy it.
I've been jumping over fences, I'm running out of chances. I need to get away.
So Eli was able to get these out. We still have, like, these are going all up and down the bus. Eli has we've tried using this on it. We've tried cutting the whole track out. These things are such a pain in the butt. All I do is hold it. You do the rest. Okay? It just... Eli, I'm holding it. I think it is spinning. I don't know. I can't tell when it's moving. Yeah, it's spinning here. Is this thing not holding it or something? Is this thing not holding it? Well, I don't either. I don't know how to keep it from spinning, Eli. I'm holding it. What? Yeah, it's spinning the drill. Is there a way to make sure the drill doesn't move? I'm like pushing down on it. That might be why it's not in all the way. Whoop! This is what you look like after working under a bus. Look at the difference. And your feet too.
Got a nice burn over here somewhere.
Oh, I got a boo-boo to do too. Wee.
Busted knuckles.
Look at all that stuff you got at. Whoop, whoop. It doesn't feel like a lot, but imagine how much you would have gotten done if you were still like trying to cut out that track. You got a lot done. That's it for today, guys. Time to let the kids play outside because it's a really nice day out. Alright, Eli asked me if I could try to remove some of this rubber flooring that's going around the track so I can at least be removing some of the like screws that are coming up through the wooden board. So I'm going to attempt that while he's at the store. Let's see how it goes. not proud of me.
I know.
I have enough pride that I don't need someone to be proud of me. Be happy for me. Be proud of me.
I'm so proud of you, baby.
Mwah. What'd you get?
Got a bigger grinder. Gonna try and cut these seat rails out from the sides, and the 4.5-inch angle grinder wasn't quite cutting it. So, gonna see if the 7-inch will do it. And get some pry bars.
What are they? Pry bars?
Yeah. Some leverage underneath them. Well, that sucks.
What? Did it already grind out?
It just broke this disc.
Oh my gosh. Is that your only disc for it?
No, I've got 5 of them, but
We're gonna go through 5 that fast.
pop.
Looking for that light in the shadow, always been wandering through darkness. I'm always listening for a sound to follow, waiting for something to begin. Waiting for something to begin. I miss the mountains and I miss the oceans. just wanna go where I remember you mostly, and hope I hear your voice again. And hope I hear your voice again. I miss the mountains and I miss the oceans. Yeah, I miss the city and you. 'Cause I'm tired of this waiting and waiting for something that's somewhere just out of my view. I wanna wake up, I wanna wake up, I wanna wake up. I wanna wake up, I wanna wake up, I wanna wake up. I'll keep on dreaming until I remember what you look like from up above. I'll keep on dreaming, I'll keep on dreaming. Mountains and I miss the oceans. Yeah, I miss the city and you. I'll keep on waiting and waiting for something that's somewhere just out of my view. I miss the mountains and I miss the oceans. Yeah, I miss the city and you. I'll keep on waiting and waiting for something that's somewhere just out of my view.
Hey guys, Robin wanted me to cover pulling up this track since we're pretty much to being at the end here. We're at the home stretch. We got 3 more strips of, I think they're about 8 feet, maybe 6 feet. But that's it. We got all of that back there, all cut up. Been a pain in the butt. All of these bolts are bolted through the bus, through the floor of the bus. And of course every nut that's on the underside is rusted. Threads are all nasty. They're not really accessible. So even the ones, I was able to get a couple back there that I could cut up. But unfortunately, most of them I just can't get to. So I found the best method of doing this is cutting these out from the side. So pulled up all the plywood that was here in front of them. And you can get to, you can see there's a thin layer, 1/4 inch layer that these tracks actually sit on top of. And it's just enough room to get the cutoff wheel into the side of the bolt, cut it up, pop up the track, so you just work your way down. You got a whole track. A lot of the ones that I did back here, I was cutting them up so I can get underneath them. But it's been a lot easier since I cleared off most of this. I can actually get full lengths because I can get to these sides. But you can see I started off with my trusty 4-inch angle grinder that I've had for years. It wasn't quite enough power when I was cutting out the seat bolts and everything, so I upgraded to 4.5 inch. But of course that wasn't big enough to get into these. And here's a 4.5 inch disc. So I had to step up to a 7 inch. This guy here, thank you Harbor Freight for making inexpensive tools that do the job. I think it was probably about $40 or so, maybe $50 at Harbor Freight. And honestly, with how much work it is to get all these tracks out. It's best money you can spend. So I'll show you a quick clip of me cutting these out again. I think we already have some footage of it. But basically what I'm doing here is I'll pop out the first one and then just work my way down with the pry bars, getting a little bit of leverage underneath the track so that it's easier to cut these out. And it's actually pretty satisfying because with all the pressure that's put on this, when you cut through it, it gives a little pop so you know you're done. You move on to the next one. So I'll do a quick little setup of me cutting these out again, and you guys can see that. It's always safety first. Got the goggles on, got some ear protection, got the mask. It does burn through the plywood, so it can create a lot of smoke. Got a fan to help with that, just to evacuate some of that smoke and keep some fresh air in here. It's also really freaking hot in here, so it helps with that as well. So let me do one of these cuts and I'll show you how things are going. So, like I said, just get the pry bars under there, get a little leverage. This is the last one that I cut out. I'll be moving on to this guy here. So, get some pressure under there, the pry bars under there. Set it in place. Put the mask on. Like I said, just get underneath the track, just above that piece of plywood. You'll start to burn and cut through the plywood. That'll be quick access to that bolt. Down, just goes like right here. Pressure under there. My disc is getting a little short here. So that's what they start as. So lost a lot of material. So I'll swap it out and keep going. Got these 3 tracks and we'll be done. Hallelujah. Just in case anyone's curious as to why I'm actually doing it like this, I did try pretty much everything else I could think of before settling on this method. I started, of course, just trying to take it out from the top. Didn't work. Tried drilling out all those screws, bolts, sorry. Did not work. Just took way too long. I tried a Sawzall, doing the same thing, cutting them out from the bottom. It worked a little bit, but way too slow. Tried the same thing with the angle grinder with cutoff, just cutting off these heads and getting this track basically cut up into a bunch of little pieces. It worked, but once again, pretty slow. Just makes a big mess. It's a lot of cuts. This one is by far the easiest method that I have found for us. Of course, it still takes forever. Only being able to get out here pretty much on the weekends when kids are napping, that kind of thing. Takes forever. I think this is probably our, I don't know, we're weeks into trying to get this track system up. But just want to let you know, this is the quickest method I found. Got the new cutoff wheel on. It just works. Works for me. So if you guys have had any other success. Oh, I also tried doing the same thing. I saw someone else actually cut the track right down the center. Split it out and then hit the bolts. Tried that. It kind of worked, but once again, just takes way too long. That's a very long cut that you're making, and we had 4 rows of these things on either side. So you can imagine how much time that would take to make that cut all the way through the aluminum that's, you know, these guys are made of. And it's not insignificant. Now, this is the track system right here, or a piece that I cut out when I was hacking it all up. So you can see, you know, it's a pretty sizable extrusion of aluminum that you have there. Sorry, I can't talk. So just given how thick that is, how much cutting you have to do to make all those passes down, just not worth it. Since you can get into these strips of plywood, pull those up, and have access to the sides of these tracks, this has been by far the easiest method that I've found to get these things up. And like I said, it's working. I'm almost done, so that's what I got. It worked for me, and maybe it'll help you out too. But these guys, this track system, pain in the butt. I thought we were going to be in the clear because we only had a couple of seats that were bolted directly to the bus. Everything else came, you know, attached to the tracks. They popped out pretty easily. But then you find out that you have all these, you know, dozens of feet of track that are bolted to your bus. They've got to bolt every, you know, what's that, 4 or 6 inches or so, 5 inches, and that's a lot of bolts. So cutting these out has been very trying, very tedious, but we're at the home stretch, so looking forward to doing other things now. Thanks. Here we go. Little track. The nice thing about this is these are pretty cool track systems, and if you're into reusing things, make a pretty cool system for the garage or even reused on the bus somewhere. There's a lot of adapters that you can buy for attaching things to these tracks. So pretty cool way to reuse some of this stuff. But there we go, almost done. So get back at it. Also, another little piece of tool advice, a little tool tidbit. Anyone that's never used one of these, it's an oscillating tool. It's one of the best tools that you never knew you needed. I got this specifically when we were doing the flooring in the house to undercut some jams. It's just the perfect tool for it. But it's super versatile for any and everything else. I've been using it a lot to make these cuts in our plywood runs, just so I don't have to break out the circular saw and, you know, set the depth on that and worry about, you know, hitting the metal floor and all that good stuff. This is perfect for making those quick cuts, just because I'm doing this in so many pieces, and I'm not really pulling these up, you know, as a single piece. I'm just, you know, cutting out small sections at a time. I think I saw the same thing from Mike from the Bussy McBusface channel. Said the same thing, and I'm sure we'll be using this a lot in the rest of our build. So anyone that doesn't have an oscillating tool, go out and get yourself one. I've got this one. It's a Dremel Multimax. It's fairly powerful, does a good job, and also just got one in this DeWalt cordless kit that I just got. So we have lots of them laying around now. So just so you guys know, tool advice, get some. You never have too many tools, that's for sure. Robin probably disagrees because they're all over the place. But when you come into the situation where you don't have the proper tool for the job sucks. But if you do have the right tool for the job, it makes things pretty easy. So there you go. Get lots of tools.